Candace Owens just dropped a bombshell, tearing into Rachel Zegler after the catastrophic Snow White remake that's left Disney reeling with a $115 million loss. The conservative firebrand called Zegler out, labeling her a narcissist and blaming her for the film's humiliating flop. Buckle up as we dive into this explosive clash and uncover the fallout shaking Hollywood to its core. Let's get straight to the heart of this drama. Disney's live-action Snow White, released on March 21, 2025, was meant to be a magical reimagining of the 1937 classic. Starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen, the film had a massive $270 million budget, making it one of Disney's priciest live-action remakes ever. But instead of a fairy tale success, it turned into a nightmare, grossing just $142.8 million worldwide by early April, far from breaking even. Critics and audiences alike have slammed the film, with a dismal 1.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb and a 40% tomatometer score on Rotten Tomatoes. The backlash has been relentless, and much of the blame has landed on Zegler's shoulders. Enter Candace Owens, the outspoken conservative commentator, known for her no-holds-barred takes. On April 8, 2025, Owens took to her podcast to deliver a scathing critique of Zegler. She didn't mince words, accusing the 23-year-old actress of immature narcissism and claiming her actions single-handedly tanked the film. Owens pointed to Zegler's social media behavior, particularly her outspoken political posts, as the root of the disaster. Rachel Zegler dragged her woke politics into a family film, and now Disney is paying the price. Literally, Owens said. She went on to mock Zegler's comments about the original Snow White, where the actress had called the 1937 film's prince weird and criticized its focus on a love story, saying it was outdated. Owens called this disrespectful to a timeless classic and argued that Zegler alienated Disney's core audience. To understand why Owens's comments hit so hard, we need to look at the context of Snow White's failure. The film was controversial from the start. When Zegler, a Latina actress, was cast as Snow White in 2021, some fans criticized the decision, arguing she didn't match the character's traditional skin as white as snow description. Zegler fired back, posting a photo captioned, "Fairest of them all, by the way," which racked up over 400,000 likes but also drew heated comments. Then came her remarks about the original film. In interviews, Zegler said the remake would focus on an empowered Snow White who isn't dreaming about true love, a stark contrast to the classic narrative. This sparked outrage among fans who felt she was dismissing a beloved story. The controversies didn't stop there. Zegler and her co-star Gal Gadot clashed over their opposing views on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Gadot, a former IDF instructor and proud Israeli, stood in contrast to Zegler, who tweeted "Free Palestine" just 24 hours after the Snow White trailer dropped in 2024. This led to a rumored feud between the two, with reports of tension on set after filming wrapped. Fans of both actresses threatened to boycott the film, and the divide only deepened when Zegler posted "Faux Donald Trump" on Instagram after his election win in November 2024. Producer Mark Platt reportedly flew from Los Angeles to New York to ask Zegler to tone down her social media activity, but she refused to back down. The film faced other issues too. The portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs drew accusations of ableism after Disney opted for CGI characters instead of casting actors with dwarfism, a decision that came after backlash over initial plans to replace the dwarfs entirely, a fire on set, and delays from the writers' strike added to the production woes. When the movie finally hit theaters, reviews were brutal. The Observer called it toe-curlingly terrible, and Screen Rant noted that while Zegler's singing voice was a highlight, the CGI dwarfs gave the film an artificial sheen, and Gadot's performance as the Evil Queen fell flat. Owens seized on all of this in her podcast rant. She argued that Zegler's behavior turned Snow White into a woke disaster that alienated audiences. Disney trusted her with a $270 million project, and she repaid them by trashing the legacy of Snow White and pushing her personal agenda, Owens said. She also took aim at Zegler's Met Gala invitation, calling it a slap in the face to hardworking Americans that a failed actress was still being celebrated by Hollywood elites. On May 5, 2025, Zegler is set to attend the prestigious event despite initially refusing the invite, a move that has split fans. Some see it as a sign of her resilience, while others, like Owens, view it as proof of Hollywood's double standards. Let's look at the numbers to see just how bad this flop was for Disney. The film grossed only $69 million domestically, a far cry from its $270 million budget before marketing costs. Experts predict Disney will lose $115 million on the project, a humiliating blow for the studio. The failure was so severe that Disney has paused production on a planned live-action remake of Tangled, the 2010 Rapunzel retelling, to reassess its strategy. This isn't just a financial hit, it's a reputational one. Disney has been criticized for its string of lackluster live-action remakes, and Snow White might be the tipping point. Zegler hasn't stayed silent in the face of this criticism. She's pushed back against the hate, particularly the racist backlash over her casting. In a now-deleted post, she apologized for her election-related comments, saying, "I let emotions get the best of me." But she's also doubled down on her pride in the film, emphasizing its message of empowerment. Despite the flop, Snow White has marked a milestone for Zegler. It's her second highest-grossing film, behind The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which made $349 million. Her career box office total now exceeds $700 million, a testament to her drawing power even amid controversy. Not everyone agrees with Owens' take. Some celebrities have rallied behind Zegler. Jamila Jamil, for instance, commented with heart emojis on a Glamour UK post titled, "Why is Hollywood so afraid of Rachel Zegler and other women who speak their minds?" A TikTok user also defended her, mouthing lyrics to Bob Dylan's "It Ain't Me, Babe," with the caption, "I could genuinely talk for hours about the hate campaign toward Rachel Zegler and how she's never done a single thing to deserve any of it." These supporters argue that Zegler is being unfairly scapegoated for a film that faced systemic issues beyond her control. Others, however, have piled on the criticism. Jonah Platt, the son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, called Zegler immature and narcissistic in a now-deleted Instagram comment, blaming her for dragging her politics into the film's promotion. Ariana DeBose, Zegler's co-star from West Side Story, stirred controversy by sharing Platt's quote on Instagram, though she later claimed she didn't know it was about Zegler and deleted the post. Danica Patrick, a former race car driver turned commentator, also mocked Zegler, calling the remake horrible and echoing Owens' sentiments about its woke agenda. Let's step back and examine the broader implications. Snow White's failure isn't just about Zegler, it's a wake-up call for Disney. The studio has been churning out live-action remakes for years, but audience fatigue is setting in. Films like The Lion King and Mulan have had mixed success, and Snow White's disaster raises questions about whether this formula is sustainable. Disney's decision to halt the Tangled remake suggests they're feeling the pressure. Some experts argue the studio needs to rethink its approach, focusing on original stories rather than rehashing classics with a woke spin that risks alienating fans. Zegler's career, meanwhile, is at a crossroads. On one hand, she's proven her talent. Her singing in Snow White was widely praised, and she won a Golden Globe for West Side Story in 2021. Some suggest she should lean into musical projects, like upcoming adaptations of Gypsy or Spring Awakening, to redeem her image. On the other hand, the backlash has taken a toll. She was spotted looking somber in New York City on April 8, 2025, walking her dog in a navy hoodie and red puffer coat, trying to stay incognito. Reports say she's been deeply affected by the criticism, though she put on a brave face at the opening of George Clooney's Broadway play on April 4th. Owens' comments have added fuel to an already raging fire. Her podcast episode went viral, racking up millions of views and sparking heated debates on X. Some users agreed with her, with one post saying, "Candace is right. Zegler's ego destroyed Snow White. Disney should have known better." Others defended Zegler, arguing, blaming Rachel for a $270 million flop is absurd. Disney's the one who dropped the ball. The controversy shows no signs of slowing down, and it's exposing deeper divides in Hollywood over politics, representation, and the role of social media in a star's career. Let's consider the historical context. Disney has faced backlash over woke projects before. The 2019 Little Mermaid casting of Halle Bailey, a black actress, as Ariel drew similar racist criticism, though that film ultimately performed better at the box office. Snow White's failure feels different. It's not just about casting, but about a perfect storm of bad decisions, from Zegler's comments to the CGI dwarfs to the rumored on-set drama. Owens' takedown of Zegler taps into a broader cultural frustration with Hollywood's perceived overreach, a sentiment she's long capitalized on in her career. What does this mean for the future? For Disney, it's a moment of reckoning. The studio is reportedly reevaluating its live-action strategy, and the pause on Tangled could signal a shift. For Zegler, the road ahead is uncertain. She's still a rising star with undeniable talent, but the Snow White debacle has damaged her reputation. Some insiders speculate she might take a break from the spotlight to regroup, while others believe she'll bounce back with a new project that lets her showcase her strengths. As for Owens, her comments have cemented her as a polarizing figure in the culture wars. She's built a career on calling out what she sees as Hollywood's excesses, and her attack on Zegler has only amplified her influence. But it's worth asking, is she being fair? Zegler isn't solely responsible for Snow White's failure. Disney's creative choices and the broader cultural climate played a role too. Owens' critique, while sharp, overlooks the systemic issues at play, focusing instead on an easy target in Zegler. The drama doesn't end here. Just as the dust was starting to settle, a new rumor emerged that could reignite the firestorm. Sources claim Zegler is in talks for a tell-all interview, where she plans to address the Snow White backlash, her feud with Godot, and Owens' comments head-on. What will she say, and how will Hollywood react?